Guys, Kendra here with another episode of the podcast, and today we are going to talk all things cash flow and getting smart on where the money actually resides. But before we hop into that, I am going to give you a couple of friendly reminders. So one is to definitely check out our website. We did do a rebrand and a refresh. So head on over to thefinancefemme.com and let us know your thoughts on that. You can pop on over to Instagram at thefinancefemme, shoot us a DM or a comment, and let us know your thoughts on the new site. And while you're there, you can also let us know your thoughts on our last episode, which is around focusing on revenue and profit and the difference between revenue and profit. And again, today we're going to talk about cash flow, which is different than profits. And I know that sometimes gets mixed up. So very excited to hop into that because that is a key difference and focus that you want to have in your business. But quickly, before I go into cash flow, let me just quickly, once again, reintroduce you to the Finance Femme team and the brand and what we do. So we are a virtual CFO and accounting firm that supports women all over the U.S. So we do exclusively serve women entrepreneurs and women-owned businesses, whether you are product-based or service-based. We have 3 distinct service offerings from executive accounting all the way up to elite CFO, which basically means that we can support you in any way, whether that is just managing your bookkeeping and accounting and your financial reporting, all the way to financial strategy and operations, whether you're hiring employees and you need to understand how much to pay them, or can you actually afford them, or contractor versus W-2, or do I expand my product offerings? Do I go into a second brick and mortar location? All of those different things we can help you with, and we would love to support you in your business. And what really makes us unique and different is that we really are a full service firm. There are, solo bookkeepers out there or solo virtual CFO agencies out there, but we actually can do end-to-end support. I have a full team of amazing women that I absolutely adore, and I'm very grateful to have as part of the Finance Femme firm. And we are, again, really here to support women in all aspects of their business, finance, and strategy. So with that being said, let's hop into cash flow so that I can give you a little nugget on what cash flow is, why it's important in your business, and how you can really start to think about cash flow as it pertains to your business. So what is cash flow? Let's just start there. Cash flow really is the movement of money within your business. It's kind of what it sounds like, right? It's the flow of cash in and out of your business. This is different than profitability. Profitability, again, listen to that last podcast episode, but it is what is your revenue or your sales minus your expenses. So the expenses that you incur to generate that revenue, and also the expenses to operate your business. That is what profitability is. Different than cash. So let me actually give you a real life example of how we've helped a client so that you can really see how cash and profit, the differences, how they play out. So a client had generated over $100,000 worth of sales during a course launch. So congratulations to her and her team. They did all of the work and they launched and made $150K in 2 days. She had 2 payment plan options. So there was a pay in full option and a payment plan option, where many of her customers during that launch chose that payment plan option. So while she had generated $150K in sales, she didn't have $150K of cash deposited into her bank account at once, right? Because she had these payment plans. And her payment plans actually spanned as much as 12 months long. She had a 3, 6, and a 12-month long option. The 12-month long option, that's one thing and a topic for another day. But the real kicker here is that her customers were defaulting on their payments. She didn't have a good collections process in place. So, even though she generated $150K in sales, that money was not actually coming in. And that was before she started working with us. Let me be clear on that. So she came to us wondering, why was her cash so off? She was like, hey, I made $150K in sales during this launch. I know we didn't spend that much on expenses to generate that, but my cash, I'm not feeling like I can see this money that I made coming into my account. My balance isn't really moving that much. Well, we discovered that she had over $100K of receivables or money that she was supposed to have collected but didn't, because she didn't have a really good cash flow process in place. So she was focused on sales. She was very excited that she generated $150,000 in sales during that launch in just a couple of days, but that cash could never hit your pocket if you're not focused on cash flow. You have to have the proper processes in place. You have to have the proper reporting in place to be able to show you how behind you are on collecting that cash. And so some of those customers just didn't pay, like refused to pay because they were like, you didn't invoice me for like 6 months and now you're trying to come and collect. So we came in and we helped to collect a lot of that cash. But that's one reason why cash flow really, really matters. And again, why it's different from revenue and profitability, but it's very important. This is another reason why you have to have a pro managing your books. And if you're earning over a couple $100,000 a year in sales, you really should consider having a virtual CFO as well, because that virtual CFO can also assist you in cash flow forecasting and projecting like the future flow of your cash flow. So that's what cash flow is, and that's an example of how it's different than profitability. So I really wanted to set the stage with that because again, a lot of folks think, oh, I'm generating 250K or 150K at, in a week in sales. I'm probably good to go as it pertains to cash flow, but not necessarily. So now let's talk about why cash flow matters. So one reason why cash flow matters is really understanding where your cash is going. So let's say as an example that in a particular month, you have generated $20,000 in profit. So you have your revenue of, let's say 100K, but you had 80K worth of expenses for people or products or rents or whatever it is. So that leaves you with 20K of profit. But if you have debt that you're paying back, or loans, or credit cards, or PayPal advances, or cabbage loans, you're not going to see 20K hit your bank account. And I know this in particular is confusing to a lot of people these days because folks took out PPP loans and EIDL loans and all of these advances, and now you're paying them back, and that's reducing your cash. But that loss of cash isn't really reflected on your profit and loss statement. So if you're focusing on your profit and loss statement, then you're missing that. You're not going to see that. Also, for those of you ladies out there, ladies and gents out there that have Shopify stores and take Shopify loans where they take their money back for the loan before they deposit it into your account, you might again see $100,000 of sales in a particular month, but then when you look at what's actually getting deposited, well, they're taking their money off top. Same thing with like PayPal loans, right? So that's the difference between that cash flow and that profitability that you're not going to see depending on how your bookkeeper is managing your books. You might not see that on your profit and loss statement. So it's very important to understand your cash flow because that is going to really truly show you the movement of your cash. Another reason why it's really important to understand cash flow is protecting your business relationships, right? If you don't properly plan and forecast your cash flow, you can default on certain payments. You can default on loan payments. You could forget to pay vendor bills, right? You could just not have the cash to pay your vendor bills, like because you didn't properly plan for it. So what if you're a product-based business that needs to like re-up on product for Black Friday? Black Friday is where you're going to make so much money, every year, like, oh, you plan for Black Friday, you have these photo shoots and all these great promotions planned for Black Friday, and now you need to re-up on your product for your Black Friday sale. But your manufacturer requires a deposit in order to start the process of getting your product to you. What if you can't afford it? What if you can't afford the deposit because you didn't properly plan for it? So now you're out or low on product for your Black Friday sale. So even if you have these amazing images from your photo shoot and this amazing promotion planned, you're not actually going to sell products. You're not actually going to make as much money as you could because you were low or out of stock on inventory because you didn't have the cash to pay for the deposit or to pay for the product, right? It happens, unfortunately, too often, and it's not a profitability issue. It's a cash flow issue. So now for you service-based businesses out there, what if you utilize contractors to assist with client fulfillment? And let's say that you are a marketing agency or a consultant and you use contractors to help you do some of the work that you then turn into your clients. But what if you're late on paying those contractors? Maybe initially they start to enforce some late penalties, but what if you're late time after time and they leave and they stop working with you? And now you have clients and customers that are paying you for a service, but you can't get the work done because your contractors have left. It can ruin your reputation. It can ruin your business. So planning for cash flow or planning for upcoming movement in your cash flow is super important. Having a cash flow forecast and projections, super important. And another reason why it matters is because scaling requires money. So everyone says that they want to scale, but is everyone financially healthy enough to do so? If you needed to hire 3 more employees next month, could you? If you needed to buy an office space for your staff or buy a warehouse for your growing inventory, could you? All right, so this is why it's especially important to not only know your cash flow history, but also your cash flow future. Your cash flow future is your cash flow forecast and your projections, and you really want to hire a virtual CFO to help you with that so that you can properly forecast your cash flow and just properly manage it all together. And so with that being said, there are really 2 different types of people that listen to this podcast. I'm very aware of this. There are those motivated and like action-oriented business owners who are all about taking action so that things can move forward. And maybe even women who are like stuck and they're trying to decide what aspects of their business they can handle on their own or what they need to outsource. And those smart business owners understand that managing money is top priority. It's how you grow, it's how you scale, and you really should seek out the help of a professional that can help you in aspects of your business that you aren't well versed in, especially as it pertains to your finances. If you run out of money, you have no business, right? Then there's also those listening to the podcast who know that they need help, but they say that they aren't ready to pull the trigger, or they quite frankly just still have excuses. I really want you to consider how difficult it's going to be in business to continue to operate this way without proper guidance, without proper insight into how your money is actually performing, where your money is actually going. Like, how much longer can you really operate the business under those circumstances? So, most of the time, action takers aren't really sure how things are going to work out or what everything is going to look like, but you have faith that hiring the right team to manage certain aspects of your business is really the smart thing to do, and it's really the best option. And what I've seen over the years is that those who seriously scale their business and are able to like live their best lives, they do so because they take action. So if you are a business that's generating over 150K or 200K a year in your business and you're ready to scale, and you want to ensure that your cash flow is positive and properly managed, then let's chat. And hop over to thefinancefemme.com. You can schedule a free consultation by heading over to the site. Okay, so then let's also talk a little bit more about cash flow and how it is the lifeblood of your business. So cash flow management lets you forecast your expenses. It lets you prepare for dry months. It even lets you know to an extent how much to charge for your clients or how much to charge your clients. So if you're bringing in less money in a certain month, this will allow you to spend and invest your money responsibly. If you have an understanding of seasonality, which I've talked about in past episodes, it's really going to properly prepare you for what to do. There are some clients who, or some businesses who might know that summer is their slow months, right? And so if that's the case, and you know that, and you're planning for that, and you know it going into it, then you can make sure that how you're spending your money and how you're investing your money is done differently in the spring in preparation for that than what you might do in the fall. So cash flow forecasting is it's just imperative in your business. And not only is it going to help you in making business decisions, it's really just going to make the business feel lighter because you're going to be able to base those decisions based off of something, right? So just imagine what it's like to not have fear of the months ahead and to feel confident that your inventory is going to be paid for with no problems, or to know that you are going to be able to launch your program and not worried about how bills are going to get paid. What would it feel like to know how much you could spend at any given moment? That's what cash flow strategy really is. To be able to say, I know in this moment that I have $16,000 that I can invest on X, Y, and Z. And I know that in 3 months, I'm going to be able to invest $15,000 in X, Y, and Z. You'll be able to know that really within the dollar. We have cash flow projections that we create for our clients, for our CFO clients. and we have it out for 5 years. So I can tell you in 4 years, 3 months, and a week, how much cash flow do we anticipate you having in your business based on how we're modeling your business today. Of course, things are going to pivot. You might say that you want to launch something new in 6 months and it ends up launching in 3 months or it ends up launching in a year. But the great thing about these financial models that we build is that we can update it at any given moment and it refreshes the entire 5-year balance. So if we had it in there that you're going to launch something in 3 months and you launch it in 1 month, we can update your model and it updates your 5-year plan. So having that is super important because you can know what today's impact, what today's change is going to impact the trajectory in the next few years of your business. So, again, it's just super important. If you want to chat with us about it, we would love to connect with you on it. These are the things that I really enjoy doing. It's very nerdy, I'm sure, to a lot of folks, but it's very important, but also it's just fun for me to do, honestly. So I would love to build out your cash flow plan and to go over it with you to understand what your strategy is in your business. So reach out at thefinancefemme.com. Hopefully this has been helpful in understanding what cash flow is, again, how it's different from profitability, how you can have a $200K launch and have no money in the bank. Not because you overspent on expenses, but because you didn't have a cash flow plan, because that payment plan might have hurt you because you didn't have solid cash flow management in place before you allowed payment plans to happen. So if this sounds like you, and if this sounds like something that you feel like could be of assistance in your business, which, hint, it can be assistance in your business. If you're running a business and you take money, it can be of assistance in your business. Again, hop on over to thefinancefemme.com and schedule that consult, or hop on over to Instagram at thefinancefemme and shoot us a note. All right, until next time.